Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today we are going to be doing a little bit of an update on someone that we talked about recently, and that person is Dank Demoss. If you don't remember, Dank Demoss went pretty viral for a whole Lyft situation where they were trying to get into a Lyft car, and the driver basically said, "I do not want you in my car because I don't feel like you can fit."
What you saying?
Yeah, I got no space in my car is small.
I can fit in this car.
But believe me, you can.
Yes, I can.
Believe me. So I'm sorry. Be more specific with you. I got very tired.
All unfolded on video. Deja Banlane whipped out her phone when this all happened. Now, the Lyft driver, he was kind enough and apologetic, but refused her a ride and said that she would not fit and that her weight couldn't be handled by his tires. Now she's filing a lawsuit.
I knew it was illegal and I knew that it was wrong.
Her attorneys, John Marco and Zach Runyon, say weight is a protected characteristic in Michigan by law.
It would be no different than a driver pulling up and saying, you know, I don't want to have black people in my car, or I don't want to have Christians in my car or Muslims in my car. It's the same. Under the law, it's the same.
She ended up filming the whole situation, and it went viral on social media, and a lot of people had a lot of stuff to say. Now, Dank, has been kind of riding this wave for sure. And one thing that happened recently was she actually went on the radio show, The Breakfast Club, which is very, very popular. And we actually I did a live commentary talking about it on a live stream that got taken down because iHeartRadio, who owns the Breakfast Club, or whoever, like they own the distribution rights, I think, or something. I don't know exactly how it works, but they claimed the entire thing. And they claimed the live stream as I was doing it, and the live stream got shut down. I tried to finish it over on Twitch and then tried to re-edit it to upload it to YouTube, and it just did not work out. So we're going to be kind of going over that stuff. But also there has been some other stuff that has happened more recently that I think is interesting. So we'll be able to kind of go over everything that's happened recently with Dank Demoss in this video. Really quick, I just wanted to say huge thank you to Legion for sponsoring this video. I've been working with Legion for the past couple months, and I really have been enjoying it. I really enjoy their supplements. I like how transparent they are with all of the ingredients. There's no proprietary blends, so everything that you're curious about what would be in the supplement is going to be on the website or even on the label of the supplement that you get. So there's no guessing or guesswork when it comes to what's inside the supplements. And they're also very transparent about what the supplements can do for you. They don't overstate what they can do for you. And I really appreciate that, because in the fitness space, it's very common for people to overpromise and underdeliver. And I feel that that's something that they don't do. I personally really enjoy their protein powder as well as their pre-workout, but something that they recently have started offering is protein bars, and these are my favorite right here, the chocolate chip cookie dough. I think they taste really good, especially if you throw them in the microwave for just a couple seconds. But as you can see here, 30 peer-reviewed scientific studies support our protein bars ingredients, contains no artificial sweeteners, flavors, food dyes, or other chemical junk, analyzed for purity and potency in state-of-the-art ISO accredited labs. So really, really good stuff. So if you're someone that is curious about trying out supplements and you maybe never tried them before, Legion, I think, is a great option for you. If you do use my code O2B, you will get 20% off your entire first purchase. So again, if you want to check that out, the link will be down in the description. And if you use code O2B, you will be getting 20% off. Again, huge thank you to Legion for sponsoring this video. Let's get back into it. So with the Breakfast Club, if you're not familiar, they do a lot of interviews and kind of just like talking, right? So Dank ended up showing up to the studio, and this was definitely a funny clip that ended up going a little viral in its own right, because when she showed up, she ended up, sitting down in one of the chairs, and she asks, "Do you have anything larger?" And Charlemagne, who is the main host of the show, he ends up having them bring basically a piece of a couch, like a sectional over for her to sit on, which, in and of itself had a lot of people talking about, because the whole reason she went there was because she's saying she could fit into this car that this Uber driver says that she can't fit into. And immediately the first thing that she says is, "I can't fit into that chair. I need, and they end up bringing her a couch, right? So obviously, like, it was very funny. There's a lot of like silly moments in this interview, but I think honestly, she is trying to be genuine about the things that she is saying. I just think that sometimes there's a little bit of a cognitive dissonance between what is being said and, what is actually being shown. One thing that she keeps bringing up is that she likes to be accommodated, right? So she appreciates that they're accommodating her with bringing in the couch, right? And then the host is basically saying, well, you can't always be accommodated. You can't always expect that. And that, that's something that we talk about here on the channel a lot, right? Like, you can hope that there's going to be accommodations, but eventually if you get to a point in being incredibly large, you have to understand, like, there's not always going to be accommodations. There's not always going to be people that are going to be able to switch up the entire situation. Like, we've talked about, like, with the J-Bay thing where she was saying, like, I wish the hallways were larger, and it was just like, we have to be realistic with the things that we're expecting. I think, like, with Dank trying to ask for a bigger seat, and there was one there, cool, that's great, right? But there are going to be situations where there's not going to be a bigger seat, and you have to understand, I think it's important to understand that you can't blame the world for the problem, especially when it's, in my opinion, when you are someone that's larger, and this is something they brought up as well, is that, like, your size is something that you do have some control over, right? At least of, like, how much body fat you have, right? As far as, like, if you're someone that's 7 feet tall, you're going to need a lot of accommodations, but there's nothing you can really do about that, right? And then again, they talk about how she compared herself to, people that are LGBT or, comparing it to skin color. Again, those are things that are inherently, you can't just decide to change, right? And so that was a really interesting portion of the video as well. One thing that I thought was really interesting was she was kind of talking about her past, and clearly she was, she had a hard life growing up, and, she had to deal with her own things, right? But she talks about how, and, they joke around about this a lot because she says that, her whole family was a little bit bigger. No one was as big as her, right? But they weren't tiny people, and they all fit into a PT Cruiser, and they all kind of joke about that. And that becomes kind of a running joke during the podcast, interview, whatever you want to call it, right? Is they're all kind of joking, oh, can you fit into this car? Can you fit into this car? You want to be able to fit into my Prius, right? And they're all kind of joking. And then she even makes a joke that I thought was really funny. She's like, I came here on a bike, right? She did not come there on a bike, but I thought that was funny. So again, I think that shows that she is someone that can take a certain amount of joking, and she can put out the jokes as well, which we will definitely be getting into later in this video. But again, that was a really big part of the conversation, was her kind of bringing up her previous experience with, these cars, because obviously a big part of this interview was talking about that viral moment where she's like, I could have definitely fit in that car. And they're like, maybe you could, maybe you couldn't. So that was something that they were talking about quite a bit. She also starts talking about her overall health and, saying, like, it's weird with her because there is an understanding from her, like, she's currently trying to lose weight. She talks about that a lot, and we'll get into that in a little bit, but she clearly understands that the size that she is at right now, and she was even heavier, right? She had apparently lost like about 85 pounds before this interview. Not like since the Uber thing, but in the past few months, she's lost a good amount of weight, right? So she is someone that understands, and that she feels that losing weight would be something that would be good for her. But I think that she is still really struggling with feeling like she is being discriminated against because of her size. She ends up mentioning that she is healthy, but also, like, basically in the same breath, she said that I believe she said her father passed away from a heart attack, but she's like, my labs say everything is fine. And it's one of those things because she says that she's 29 as well. So she is getting to that age. Something that I've noticed personally is, like, once people kind of start hitting 30, like they get out of their 20s, a lot of times these, I'm not saying she's fat acceptance, but a lot of people that are in that circle, things start to change, right? Because your body starts the wear and tear of getting older. Like, I'm 32 now, and, like, sometimes I'm like, oh, I twisted weird and now my back hurts. That's great. It's like those things start to happen. And I feel like they're only exacerbated when you are as large as Dank is, right? So it's like, there's a little bit of this cognitive dissonance of, I'm healthy, but also my dad passed away from a heart attack, but also I am trying to lose weight. It's all of these things kind of happening at the same time. And, sorry for the bad pun, but, like, it really seems that she wants to have her cake and eat it too. And, like, with this whole thing, she wants to have this lawsuit where she's, claiming that she was discriminated against because of her size, and that's wrong. But she is also trying to lose weight, and she's doing a lot of things to make that happen. And one of those things that she brings up is that she is on a weight loss program, which ends up, as we're watching this podcast interview, I find out that it's basically she's taking GLP-1 medications from a med spa. So she brings in, I'm assuming it's one of the nurses that work at the med spa, and they kind of talk about what she's been trying to do. She's lost 85 pounds taking these GLP-1 medications, which, you know, in and of itself is not a bad thing. I think that that's awesome. But, you know, they say that she is trying to take these GLP-1 medications to lose enough weight so she could so she would be able to get a VSG, I believe is the surgery that they want to go with, right? So she's doing all of these things to lose a significant amount of weight while also still wanting to pursue this lawsuit with Lyft and the driver of the car. And I think that it's really interesting because, again, that this was one of the biggest things in the podcast or the interview. I don't think it's a podcast. I think it's a radio show. But in the interview was she kept saying, she said this over and over and over again. I'm not trying to sue the Lyft driver. I didn't mention, and people are saying I'm trying to get him fired. And she said that, I don't know, like I had clipped it down to about Rachel clipped it down to about a 20-minute interview of a much longer portion, right? But in that 20 minutes, she probably said it 5 times at least, right? And so during that, she says that so many times, and then eventually towards the end of the interview, they go over the lawsuit, and Lyft is mentioned, but also John Doe, the Lyft driver, is mentioned. And so they ask her, well, I thought you weren't trying to sue him. And she's like, oh, well, you know, that's the attorneys. So it's just very interesting because, like, there's a lot of these claims that are made of like, oh, I'm not trying to do this. I'm not trying to do that. This is what I'm trying to do. But the reality is a little bit different, right? Where once they look into the actual lawsuit, he is being maybe not named because they don't use his name, right? But he is in the lawsuit at least at that period of time. But it does seem that she does want to lose weight. Like that's something that I definitely noticed, like that I think if you watched the interview, you would be like, well, this is clearly someone that is trying to lose weight. So there's definitely a difference between her and someone that is like, my size has nothing, like there's no bad effects from it. She clearly, like, she states that there are things that bother her about her size. You know, she's at the park with her nieces and nephews and they run off and she's just like, well, I literally can't run after you guys, right? So I will say the positive is that she at least is acknowledging, and she's not living in this la la land where, oh, there's, my weight has no negative effects on me. It's like it seems that she is grounded in a sort of reality, but I think, and that's like, for me, the biggest thing is like seeing this cognitive dissonance, like I was saying, is I think if she was someone that everything, it was like, what are you even, like, where are you? Where are you? Like, this whole la la land that you're living in is so fake. Yeah, like you thinking that you're completely healthy and you can fit into any car and there's going to be no problems and all of this stuff. But in reality, she says, I know that I'm not healthy. I am trying to lose weight and I'm working on it the best that I can. But also, I'm going to sue Lyft because I feel discriminated against. It just feels like this has been something that is being used to gain attention and notoriety. And it's not like, oh, this is just someone that is completely delusional. It's, from what I've seen, she seems like someone that has a relatively good head on her shoulders, understands the reality of the situation, understands life. Like, she's able to joke around. She gets it. But when it comes to this specific thing, it's like, how are you not seeing... like, how are you not seeing how this just doesn't make sense? And that's when it's like, I feel like she does see it, but she also understands that there is a way to make money off of this. There is a way to promote herself off of this. So why not do it, right? Like, when it comes to being an influencer online, because yes, she is a rapper, but I would say, and maybe this is a terrible term, but it is what it is. Like, I would say she's definitely more of an influencer than she is a rapper at this point, at least. Maybe in the future she'll become a famous rap star and, we'll be all singing her songs, right? But in this current position, it seems that it is definitely she is more of an influencer. And with that being said, let's get into the stuff that has been happening more recently. So if you take a look at her Instagram now, it's very interesting, right? Because here we have just like, there's a ton of posts about, that in my opinion look a little like an influencer. We'll get into this photo with this interesting individual here in a second. But if we click on this tab, so here we have her promoting basically this car dealership, right? So it goes on to say, tell Al over at 24th and Lapeer, the biggest Dank sent you. We got small cars, big cars, XL, you name it, luxury cars, come get one. Same day appointments and approval with proof of income, right? And then she has the address of this place, right? And then this whole video, the premise is her fitting into all of these different cars, right? And so I don't know if they just paid her for this. I don't know if she got a car for doing this. Who knows? You know, I mean, if she got a car for doing this, you know, more power to you. Bless you for that. That's awesome. I would love to get a free car. You know, if any car dealerships want to. Oh wait, I already did get a free car from Ellen, so I guess I really can't ask for a free car again. But you know, more power to her. That's awesome, right? But then we go on to see some more posts, which these show that she is clearly someone that is into meme culture and is getting the jokes, right? So here is this post with, you know, an individual that a lot of you guys might know as Dr. Now from My 600 Pound Life, where she goes on to say, shout out to my man for supporting me the other night. We had an amazing time. And then she literally tags him, I love you, bae. The support you show me is marvelous, right? So then she has another one where she's sitting on his lap, and it says, me and Bae after working out. I don't play about him, right? And then the last one is her on a mobility scooter with him photoshopped into this mirror. My good man friend said I've been doing good, working hard, and allowing me to use a Walmart scooter. I love him so much, with Stormy, who is that person that worked at that wellness center, right? And then House of Contour Med Spa, supplements and weight loss program. I've been able to keep off some weight. We have more to do though, so I can't stop. So she's talking about how she is, you know, losing weight, which again, it seems that she is clearly trying to do that. So, but I just wanted to share that because clearly she is aware of the memes and she is playing into it a little bit, which I think that I can respect. I think that that's kind of funny. I think this whole situation at this point is a little bit like a circus show. It just, or like a sideshow. It just doesn't, I would be surprised if this actually went anywhere seriously. But again, I mean, you know, the legal system in the US is kind of a clown show anyways, so who knows? So that's pretty much everything that happened. Again, I wish I could show you more of the clips, but it's just not possible. So as of recording this video, there have been reports going around that the case was like thrown out or that she lost it. Me and Rachel did quite a bit of research trying to find like legit posts where it was like for sure definitive. But all this stuff that we're saying is just people kind of saying, oh yeah, it was thrown out, and then people parodying that. So again, if there's any updates, I will definitely pin a comment or maybe I'll make another video. But as of recording this, there hasn't been anything conclusive that I've been able to find that says like this was all thrown out. I would be surprised if it makes it all the way through court personally, but who knows? And what do I know? I'm just a YouTuber. So, but I would love to know what y'all think down in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Peace.